Hello everyone, welcome back after the lunch. This is Sunny Chendi from the Secretariat. Just an official announcement that the APNIC EC election voting is now closed and the results will be announced at 3 or 3:30 p.m. Thank you. Over to you, Chair. Can you have?
Okay, right. Thank you, Sonny. So, as Sonny just mentioned, the election already closed. The result will be announced at 3:30. 3:30 will be announced. So let's resume the meeting. And the next one will be the Policy 6 report. Can I have Policy 6 Chair come to the stage? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. So hopefully the slides are the last version. So Policy SIG reports. We had 2 OPM sessions yesterday. So a quick reminder for the charter of the Policy SIG is to develop policies dealing with numbers, resource allocation, recovery and transfer, registration, OIS, reverse DNS, RPKI, and all the related services. So we had Prop 157, temporary IPv4 transfers. The current transfer policy consider only permanent IPv4 addresses transferred. This proposal suggests a policy change to allow for temporary transfers. This proposal did not reach consensus at the OPM and has been sent back to the mailing list. Prop 158, IPv6 auto-allocation for each IPv4 request. The proposal suggests automatically delegating IPv6 address space to new and initial IPv4 requests to accelerate IPv6 implementation. This proposal did not reach consensus at the OPM and wasn't sent back to the mailing list. Prop 154, resizing of IPv4 assignment for the IXPs. This proposal suggests changing the default size of IPv4 assignment for IXPs from a /23 to a /26, which can be replaced up to a maximum of a /22 if the IXP returns the IPv4 address space previously assigned to them. This proposal reached consensus at the OPM. Here is a summary of the proposal changes. You, of course, can get the full text on the APNIC website. So the idea is to remove the /23 maximum and put a /26 instead. And it's been demonstrated that it will allow for more IXP to expand. The maximum now reaches a /22 instead of a /23, and the resources under this policy are not transferable, and APNIC should reserve a /20 for the IXP under this policy. Chair, can you your turn now to call for consensus?
Thank you. Thank you for your introduction. So we have 2 policy proposals, reached consensus at Policy 6 yesterday. So we write to reconfirm the consensus according to, at the annual general meeting, according to any APNIC policy development process. So I'd like to move to the first proposal. Is 158, is that?
154.
154, okay. So that's the first proposal. We're going to confirm whether we reach consensus or not. For the proposal 154, resizing of IPv4 assignment for the IXP. And if any of you who strongly support the proposal, please raise your hand. And also we have comfort, please show on the screen. Okay, for any of you who support the proposal 154, please raise your hand. Okay, for any of you who are neutral to the proposal, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Any of you who oppose this proposal, please raise your hand. And, sorry.
Not working.
Okay. I can remember for the record. I am not so sure what you are doing because the policies reached to the consensus to some proposal and not reach to the consensus to other proposal. And then here AMM is just endorsing the consensus. Then what we are doing right now?
Yeah, we are trying to reconfirm the consensus to ensure the consensus. Because policy 6, probably member didn't go to the policy 6. They probably participate in different meetings.
Then I would do the same, raising the hand with the policy 6. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's the traditional way to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
just try to clarify. That's a standard way to doing that. Okay, last choice. Any of you who strongly oppose the proposal, please raise your hand higher. Okay, I conclude the proposal reached consensus. Thank you. Moving to the next one.
Okay, Prop 156, assignment of temporary IP resources. The objective of this proposal suggests reserving a /21 IPv4 prefix from the non-103/8 pool, as well as the /29 IPv6 and 8 ASN for delegation to events such as conference and any other reason that APNIC deem appropriate and for which long-term assignment will not be feasible. This proposal reached consensus at the OPM. I will now present the modification text. And again, you can have the full content of the text on the APNIC website. So the idea is to propose short-term assignments not lasting more than 6 months. The goal is to provide a way for organization to access resources on a temporary basis for the benefit of organization members and a wider internet community. It describes how to address this temporary assignment and with specifics for conference, workshop, special interest groups, and any other special purposes. Most of the time, no greater than a /24 and a /32 with a single ASN should be assigned. And the assignee will have to credit APNIC for this. Assignment time period, any assignment made will have to be made through someone that is registered as an APNIC member, update the US database, etc. And it details what is considered commercial and not commercial. Talking about fees, that will be for the EC to deal with. And that's it.
Okay, thank you, Patron. Okay, right now we try to reconfirm the consensus whether it reached in the AGM or not. For the proposal 156, if you strongly support the proposal, please raise your hand. Okay, right, thank you. If you support the proposal, please raise your hand. Okay, right, thank you. If you are neutral to the policy proposal, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. If you oppose this proposal, please raise your hand. Okay. If you strongly oppose this proposal, please raise your hand. Okay, can I invite any of you who oppose this proposal come to the mic to explain why you oppose the proposal?
Hi. I raised my hand for, oppose.
Can you please state your name and affiliation?
Name, affiliation.
My name is Wellington. I'm with CSTNet. The reason I oppose this proposal is that's because I think it's, the advantage is kind of marginal or minimal. And with the cost, the operation cost is pretty much high. So I don't think that's necessary to make such a laborious process to make this policy as well as to implement it. Because, the monster is in the detail, right? So it seems kind of straightforward, but when it comes to the operation, to implementation, that will be a huge labor, not only for the applicant of the IP addresses, but also for APNIC itself. So that's the reason I oppose.
Okay, right. Thank you. Please, your name and affiliation.
Yeah, Carl Kloppenborg, Reset Data. I just wanted to clarify what you mean by burdensome operational costs. Could you give some examples to that?
Oh, hi. As regard to the operation cost, I mean that, first, if an applicant would like to apply for the temporary assignment of the IP address, the applicant is supposed to, become the APNIC member first, in the first place, right? That is the first burden for the applicant. And when it comes to the assignment or determination of who is eligible for the application and how long the process it will be, it will take at least one or two APNIC staff to make the kind of decisions. And at this moment, I don't see any clear standard or any clear process to process the whole application. For example, at this moment, I don't know how long the application process will be and what criteria it will be used to grant or deny the application. So there's still a lot of details to figure it out.
Okay, right. Thank you. Okay.
Carl from Reset Data again. I do want to clarify one thing, that there's precedents already in other RARs who have implemented this, and there's, as far as I'm aware, not been any reports of burdensome processes as a result, or anything of financial strain to the people applying or to the RAR. Just my opinion.
Okay, right. I believe most. Okay.
Yeah, I want to respond to that. Actually, I attended yesterday's SIG meeting, which is my first very time to attend the SIG meetings. I do notice that there are other RIs who has similar policies, but I didn't see if there's any applicable use case or any pros and cons analysis from other RIRs, what some reference for us to make that kind of decision. So it's still unclear to me as yet.
Okay, right. Thank you. We didn't go to the details, so I believe all the concern has been well received by all the audience. And can I quickly ask all of you just quickly to finalize the decision right now? For any of you who strongly support the proposal, including support the proposal, please raise your hand. Including support the proposal, please raise your hand higher. Okay, thank you. For any of you who are neutral to the proposal, please raise your hand. Neutral, okay. For any of you who are opposed to this proposal, including strongly oppose the proposal, please raise your hand. Okay. 2. So I conclude the proposal reached consensus in the AGM, but still, we still have policy development process. The proposal past AGM need to go to mailing list for 4 weeks for public comment. So if any one of you who has any opinion, you still have 4 weeks public comment period to comment on the proposal. Okay, thank you, Patron.
One last thing, especially for Prop 157 and 158, who did not reach consensus. During the policy SIG meeting, there was good comments, especially opposing these proposals, and it would be very nice if all the people that comment actually put their comments on the mailing list so that the authors can improve their proposal and maybe reach consensus at the next OPM. Thank you very much. That's it for me.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much. And thank you for your participation, especially that's a very important policy development process. So moving to the next one, I'd like to invite a speaker to introduce Routing Security SIG by Dima, right? Okay, thank you, Dima.
Hello, everyone. This is Dima, the acting co-chair of Routing Security SIG of APNIC. Okay. So above all, I would like to say, since RPK has been a very hot topic for more than a decade, so our forum is intended to be a place where you can find what is going on with the routing security in terms of innovations, standards, solutions, as well as some best current practices. Okay. So for this forum, we have 4 presentations. One is from Cable Labs, Priya from Cable Labs remotely introduce a framework for improving internet routing security based on some standardized technologies and current practices, as well as some deployment guideline from the community. Phil, who works for ISP, Vocus, shared the RPKI deployment and operations, and she also shared some lessons learned from its implementation experiences from the perspective of an ISP. And Terry Switzer, once again, introduced his research and explanation on RPK uptake and ROVA deployment within Asia Pacific region. And Christopher from Internet Society provided some research result regarding our LOA, letters of authorities, and discussed whether routing origin validation, we call the ROVA from the RPKI, can replace ROVA, to which extent. Okay, that's it for me.
Okay, thank you, Dima. So moving to, thank you. Moving to the next one will be APIDT report presented by Richard Brown. I believe he's joined online. Can I move over to Richard? Hi, Richard.
Thank you, Kenny. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's fine. Excellent.
Okay, hello everyone. I hope everyone's enjoying the meeting, and those that are attending are having a nice time in Bangkok. I've been watching and see many familiar faces, and I'm sorry I can't be there with you. But I welcome the opportunity to give you all an update on APIDT over the last year. So I'll share my slides now. Okay, so just for background, some of you may not be aware, but the APIDT was established to fund internet development initiatives in the Asia Pacific region. So that's through technical skills development and capacity building, through improvements to critical infrastructure, supporting research and development, and improving the community's capability to build an open, global, stable, and secure internet. So how does it work? Well, so WIDE and APNIC are the guardians or the members of the trust, which is APIDT, and essentially the trust invests funds to fund 2 primary activities, which are ArenaPack, infrastructure activities, and the APNIC Foundation. Of course, information can be found at our website if you want to find more information. In this presentation today, I'll go through a number of areas. I'll first of all just give you an overview of the investment activities and the performance of the fund. We'll talk about the funding activities during last year. So that's funding ArenaPac, the foundation, and I'll also talk a little bit about the APIDT property that you would have heard about earlier this week. And also just an update on the operations, the resourcing, and the activities underway, and just finish off by sharing the 2023 financial performance numbers. So the Investment Advisory Council operates as an advisory body. It doesn't make decisions, but it makes recommendations to the APIDT board. So it's chaired by Oki Matsumoto, and supported by Andrew Page, who's an investment advisor at LGT Crestone in Sydney, but also included in that advisory council are the APIDT Board of Trustees. So you would have seen in my report last year that since the trust was set up, we really set up a default yield portfolio to get the funds invested while we worked on a really comprehensive review and development of an investment portfolio. So that portfolio is managed by an investment policy statement, which is published on our website. Essentially, it's split into two funds. The endowment fund, which is the long-term fund, it really has a much more longer-term view. So the strategic asset allocation for that, has a much less weighting to cash. Fixed income is probably around 25.5% benchmark, equities 28.5%, and alternative investments, including hedge funds, private equity, real estate, etc., is targeted around 43%. And that's to get, we believe, much stronger longer-term returns for the endowment part of the portfolio. The liquidity fund is really set up, and that generally represents around 20% of the total funds. That's really set aside as a more of a yield fund, which is there so that we're putting funds aside for our shorter term funding requirements. So, that's for the annual funding of ArenaPac activities, entry into IRUs, etc., but also to fund APNIC Foundation activities. That policy, the transition of that policy commenced in 2023, and we're gradually filling out that endowment fund as time goes by. But it will take a number of years just based on the number of alternative investments that are available that meet our criteria. The fund at the end of 2023 was valued at $347 million. The IAC meets formally on a quarterly basis with interim meetings as required. So here's a map of the performance. So this is really over 13 months, and it was an interesting year coming off a very tough 2022. We ended up for those 13 months about 8.3% return. If we look at the 12 months, January, December, it's closer to 9%. And a lot of that came about really in the last half, to really mostly focused in the last quarter of the year. And that really is signalling to the market that, particularly in the US, the CPI inflation seems to be under control, and potentially the interest rate, next movement in interest rates are likely to be downwards. So obviously that adds a lot of potential upside to those bond investments that make up a large part of the portfolio at the moment. Sorry. This here is a waterfall slide which just maps out the the movement of funds in the investment portfolio during the year. So we started at 355 million. We got a net of about 29 million USD market returns and capital growth in the investment portfolio, which was a very strong performance. We did early in the year, and I'll update you on the building project further in the pack. We pulled out 25 million US dollars out of the USD investment portfolio and moved it across to our AUD operating funds just to hedge our future exposure for the likely building costs. At the end of 2023, we'd spent about 3 million of that. So there's still 22 million US dollars sitting in our AUD term deposits, which we can utilise for funding commitments in 2024 and potentially return some of those funds back into the investment portfolio. Of course, we had our 13 million roughly funds transferred to support APNIC Foundation as well. So that really shows the flow of funds. But there is the 22 million US dollars there that shows us coming out of the investment portfolio that hasn't been spent. Just an update on ArenaPack. So as if you've seen my presentations before, just an update. So Tokyo Guam IOU was live February 21. Guam Singapore went live January 22. During 2023, they did a remote surgery trial between Tokyo and Singapore. That was very successful. And that's really showing how that technology can really be used in that research environment and what it means in the real world. The IOU between Guam and Indonesia went live February 23. And there was a trial in August last year of 8K uncompressed video between Tokyo and Malang, and that too was very successful. The IOU between Guam and the Philippines went live in April 23, and in December they held an inauguration ceremony in the Philippines. Just attached a link there with a bit more information. We, of course, continue to investigate other options to increase the ArenaPack infrastructure. We are installing equipment in these sites, equipment in Tokyo, Singapore, Guam. I'd like to report that the information is that the equipment is installed in the Philippines, but it's actually still on the port, I believe, but we're getting very close, and it's been installed in Indonesia as well. We set up a research company in Japan, ArenaPack Research Japan, in early 2023, and that was really to give on the ground operational support for the ArenaPack activities, and that's working very well. And their results are incorporated in the APIDT consolidated accounts and, of course, included in our annual audit, which is currently in progress. And, of course, their budget for 2024, we have, and that be incorporated into our full APIDT consolidated budget. So spending in ArenaPack, the upfront costs, generally the upfront costs are related to a 15-year IOU agreement. Those costs are amortized over 15 years of the life of the IOU, but of course we have ongoing O&M costs generally on an annual basis over that 15-year period. So those values there, the 3.4 million represents the upfront and ongoing maintenance costs. The new ArenaPack operations in Japan, that didn't get underway as early as we anticipated in the budget. So we had made a provision in the budget for equipment purchases and office setup and staffing, and the equipment wasn't purchased in 2023. That'll move through to 2024. But the operating expenses are well established now, and that should be well underway for 2024. So all up about 3.6 million compared to our budget of 4.8. This is all in US dollars. So well below our budget for 2023. Just looking at APNIC Foundation at a high level, the grant request for 2023 that was approved was 12.6 million US dollars. Under the grant agreement, we transfer 60% of those funds early in the year, and that's the 7.6 million was transferred in March. When we received the interim report mid-year, that includes a forecast, and we provide that second tranche of funding, which was $5 million, and that was transferred in October. They're currently working on the final report for 2023, but our latest advice is that overall they'll come in about $200K USD below the approved grant request. The foundation grant for 2024 has been approved for $11 million. You may have heard, and I think Paul talked about this in his presentation before, we've had a bit of a change of course on the APIDT building project. I think a recent review by APNIC of their future requirements showed that, post-COVID and the way they've established their operations going forward in their plan, they didn't see that there was a really compelling case to make a move for this new building. And then they felt that the current building at 6 Cordelia Street would meet their medium-term requirements. So, we're seeing continued escalation in costs during this project, and it really forced us to have a rethink. And the trust really, if it wasn't important to build it for APNIC, we really couldn't see a compelling case to push forward, given some risk still involved in that project. So at this stage, the project has been deferred indefinitely, and the trust will consider, what the next options may be. So we're in the process of actually winding all that down at the moment. From an operations side, so just update since last meeting, there've been 2 new appointments to the APIDT Board of Trustees. They're in progress of being formalised, but Professor Asai and Craig Ng will be the new members of the Board of Trustees, so that adds some redundancy and some support into that board, which is very good. We have a new internet development project lead, which commenced in November 2023. That role is moving to Brisbane at the end of March. We continue to engage professional services as required. We're not trying to build a huge organisation. We're trying to keep it as slick as possible. We have, of course, ongoing support from APNIC. From a finance perspective, we're currently in our 3rd annual external audit. This is the first time we have full alignment with the calendar year, so that aligns with APNIC, it aligns with APNIC Foundation, and it aligns with the Australian Charities and Not-for-Profits Commission reporting period. Our audited reports will be available in AUD and USD when complete. We have ongoing financial services arrangements with Ernst & Young, who provide the statutory and ACNC reporting. Our budget 2024 was 95% complete. We're just actually working back through the impact of this change of tact on the building, and we'll be putting that back up to the board for approval at the next meeting. But it includes the projected funding expenses, operating costs, and the commitments we have for the building in place. Just at a high level, the income statement, as I said, the investment portfolio really came in strongly at the end of the year, so beat our budget estimates. So we came in, with strong income of nearly $31 million against our budget of 18. Our funding expenses across the foundation and Arena Pack and APIDT infrastructure activities came in below budget. Some of that's to do with the timing of when those IRUs became live, when those links became live. Our operating expenses generally tracked well below budget. So, I think a good performance, obviously boosted by that extra income that came in higher than we anticipated. Just looking at the end of year financial position compared to where it was last year, our assets sit at about 392 million. We have, as I said, some large amount of funds sitting in our bank, the USD funds that we transferred across for the building project. So we'll look hard at how we utilise those and what we can put back into the investment portfolio. We have built up some asset base in our investment portfolio. That includes the purchase of the land and the building to date. So overall, trust funds up from where they were last year, and I think, you know, a good strong performance. That negative liabilities account is really just a GST VAT refund that we're due in the first quarter. So that's my report. Happy to answer any questions at the end of the session or when question time.
Okay, thank you, Richard. He's happy to offer for any question if you have question to APIDT. Hearing none, thank you, Richard. Thank you for the introduction.
Thank you.
So next one will be APIX report presented by Toyoma-san. Is he here?
Hello.
Okay,
Can you
right.
hear?
Right, thank you. Yeah,
Hello,
we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. So, I was in Bangkok on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but then I have to go back to Japan. So I'm now in Tokyo. So apologies for remote presentation. Okay, so I'd like to share my slides. Okay, can you see my slides?
Yes.
Thank you. So, APIX is an Internet Exchange Association in APAC region. And first of all, I would like to thanks to APNIC, always support the APIX meeting and a lot of things about an activity of the APIX. Thank you very much. Okay, so first, the currently the APIX members as described in this page. The 42 IXPs from 20 countries and economies. And this half year, we got 4 IXPs, and that includes 1 economy and country. So the new economy country is in Borneo, and the new members are described here: the Borneo IX, HNext, the FOX, and the ISPAB NIX. These are the newcomers of the APIX members. Okay. And APIX is run by these steering committee members, and 5. So the activities from the September 2023 last APNIC meeting was held. We did new challenges. Usually the APIX meeting is collocated to a Apricot or APIX APNIC meeting. But this year, we had an APIX meeting was collocated to the Peering Asia. And instead of collocating to the APNIC, we had an APIX workshop. Usually APIX meeting is close to the Internet exchanges, but this time, not close to IXPs, but networks, content CDN, such kind of players are invited. We had a very good discussion about the collaboration among the content CDN and IXPs. Okay. So this was a photo of an APIX working group. Okay. And the next one, we did an exhibition at an IGF. Maybe you know that IGF 2023 was held in Kyoto, Japan. And according to the Japanese government, we get a booth at an IGF. And there we explain about what is Internet exchanges and how that can help quality improvement and cost reduction of the local Internet, and what is APIX Association. And then there are a lot of visitors, like high layers people from the government, the local government, and also had a lot of the policy makers from Internet community and also regulators. So we've had a very good discussion with them, and I believe we could appeal the internet exchange helps the internet infrastructure. Yeah, the regular meeting collocated to appearing Asia. We had a Korean internet landscape, this kind of presentation and also the discussion. Okay, so that this time we had an APIX meeting on this Monday. And this time the main topic is usually the agenda is made by our steering committee, but we this time call for volunteers to make a program. So these volunteers made a program. So this time, the Narrow of the IX Australia, Navi from ISOC, and Suman from Nixie, they are volunteer to make the programs. Okay, thank you very much for the contributions. And this time, so we had a discussion like these topics. So regulations for the promotion of the internet exchanges, yeah, and also APIX itself, their future, where we should go, and also our usual presentation like an Guam exchange, eMroot, DNS update, such kind of things. Yeah, and this time also we had a very fruitful discussion. And the other one is a result of the election. That this time, 2 members of the steering committee has been finished the term of office. But then that these 2 members, Arnold and me, are re-elected as a steering committee member. So this year, 2024, the same members will run the APIX. Yeah, this is a group photo. So many, 60 or 70 people are joined, and remotely, approximately 10 people joined. So the very big audience, and we had a good discussion. And also we had a very good dinner with the set people. And thank you for the Turila of the Thailand IX, the very fabulous Thailand restaurant. And this was sponsored by this internet exchange, not only in Japan, but from China. Yeah, like this. Thank you. So this is my talk. And yeah, thank you. Any questions and comments?
Thank you, Toyama-san. And Toyama-san also offered a Q&A if you have any question to APIX. Okay, hearing none. Thank you, Toyama-san. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you very much.
The next one will be introduced, APNIC 50A by John. Please go to the stage.
Tēnā koutoa, I'm Jonathan Brewer, and I'm not here to talk about submarine cables or the Internet of Things or space lasers. I'm here as a member of Internet New Zealand, Iparangi Aotearoa, the host for the next APNIC meeting in September. Internet New Zealand is the country's independent internet society and also the CCTLD manager for .nz. I joined the society just around 20 years ago, and I've seen it grown from a handful of very technical engineers to a mature organization with dozens of employees. Today, they operate the registry, research the use of the internet, lobby the government, and consistently engage in good works to boost safe and equitable access to the internet. So on behalf of Internet New Zealand, I would like to say, nau mai, hari mai, ke ponake, or welcome to Wellington. Do I have slides? Ah, good. Can I control the slides? Yeah, there we go. So Wellington's been my home for 17 of the past 20 odd years. I truly love the place. We've got a compact, walkable city built around a harbor, surrounded by tree-covered mountains. These were just all on my phone. I pulled these slides off my, pictures off of my phone this morning to put this together. We've got a significant film industry that's centered around special effects, costumes, and props. And we've got more restaurants, beer, wine, and coffee than you can absolutely believe. So I'm excited to think that many of you will be visiting my home in just a few months. And now we've got a 1-minute teaser video of Wellington to show you now. And then I'll hand over to Kun Kanchana to present the election results, I think. That's how the schedule goes. Can we have a video now?
Yeah.
Awesome. Mate wa, see you later.
Yeah, I'm flying to a conference, actually.
Down under, to Wellington.
New Zealand, yeah. It's somewhere I've always wanted to go.
They've got some really engaging speakers lined up.
And I think there's going to be an opportunity to make a lot of new connections.
All the events are within walking distance. I did bring my shoe. Yeah, I did.
The facilities are state-of-the-art, world-class.
It's going to be so good to get like a complete change of scenery.
See new things. Be exposed to different ways of thinking.
Upskill as much as I can. Check out some different experiences.
And Wellington's so central, it's the perfect springboard to see the rest of New Zealand.
I can't wait.
Should be unforgettable.
Actually, they're calling my flight now.
I'll talk to you soon.
Safe journey.
Okay, very fantastic video. Thank you for your introduction, John. We still have around 15 minutes to announce the election result. With that, I'd like to have another section for open mic for 15 minutes. If anyone who are interested to share your thought, please go to in front of the mic. And your name and your affiliation. Thank you.
Hello, Akinori Maemura from APNIC. Still, we are waiting for the result of the election. I'd like to express my appreciation for the Executive Council for the reinforcement of the governing mechanism of APNIC. I came up to the microphone 1 year ago, and then I requested you to work on that, and then you certainly work on that, and then the membership vote for the historic event, membership vote support the bylaw change, and then the election mechanism is reinforced. I am pleased to have served as the electoral committee, and then I actually had anticipated some hard work in the electoral committee, but it was not the case. It is really peaceful because of the revised bylaws has realized a very peaceful election. So I'd like to congratulate the Executive Council and then APNIC membership for our achievement. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Akinori-san, and thank you for your, and also I think the value of contribution is belong to the community because the decision was made by the community. I think that's a great achievement from the community as well. And also thank you for your continued contribution as an electoral committee, and that's great contribution again. Okay, the next one.
Carl Kloppenborg, Reset Data Australia. However, I'm talking in my personal capacity. First of all, thank you, Thailand, Bangkok, fantastic, had a great time. Looking forward to Wellington. I want to raise a very serious issue that I think concerns all of the community. Over the last couple of years, an insidious group that is known as the Number Resource Society, or the NRS, has been continuously working to undermine the APNIC processes and other RIRs. They pose a very serious risk to us and the RIR operational integrity. serving no benefit to the community. Instead, we believe that they serve a very small member base for the sole purpose of commercialisation of remaining assets. The group has spent considerable time developing propaganda against APNIC and have now turned their focus to APNIC. I'm so over this. Having asked them ad nauseum to explain themselves, have meetings and bring forward members to legitimise themselves, they've done nothing. Instead, they spent their time making unfounded propaganda and attempting to undermine the important RAR functions, such as the Executive Council elections. I've spoken to the community far and wide over the last couple of years. I'm here to say that we've had enough. The community overwhelmingly dislikes the NRS and wants nothing to do with them. The NRS has consistently pushed lies, attempted to hold APNIC to standards that they which themselves do not hold. They continue to hide behind emails and who funds them. They've got no apparent transparency, and no apparent members have come forward to their defence. The NRS are opaque and sit on the sidelines interfering with processes without providing any meaningful input. The latest set of videos released by the NRS are nothing short of defamation towards APNIC staff. In particular, Paul Wilson. They label him a dictator. They continue to toe a party line that APNIC is just a database, whilst not acknowledging the hard work in training and other great services APNIC staff tirelessly undertake. NRS has labelled APNIC's EC processes undemocratic and that members don't get their say when the EC makes a decision that they don't like. This couldn't be further from the truth. Most recently, Prop 155 reached consensus and was formally endorsed by the EC. However, several members quickly pointed out that the implementation wasn't consistent with the intent of the policy. Several members reached out via the mailing list to the EC and provided comments. This led to the EC directly taking the advice of members and amending the implementation. This is direct proof that the current system works and that the NRS's professed complaints are unfounded. There are so many other examples that I could use, but I don't think we need any more. Even as recently as today, NRS continues to muddy the waters via our mailing list. I'm sure you're all familiar with me by now. And only appears to come up when elections are underway. They don't contribute to the policies or any meaningful discourse. Members, ultimately the whole point of this is that members want to get back to real policy making. We're sick of it. Tackling important internet decisions and not this diatribe. Again, the community has had enough. We ask the RARs to take action either through exploring legal avenues or policy changes to the RARs to limit or stop this group from continuing its defamatory propaganda and harassment to APNIC members. The NRS cannot continue unchecked. Its financial supporters need to come forward and either legitimise themselves and their community or stop this Cold War-like behaviour. One suggestion that has been floated to me by a few members now is that making a members-only mailing list where profiles must be verified and meaningful discourse can take place. I'm sure there are other policies we can come up with and that will help this further. I ask community members to come forward and second this or to speak to me after, and hopefully we can allow the EC to see the community wishes to take action. Thank you.
Okay, right. Thank you. I believe your announcement and your recommendation are well received by all of us. And as I mentioned in the EC report, actually we do have a lot of official channel to collect input. We welcome the input from a member, and you can go to talk to the EC or my APNIC or go through the different official channel. And we are happy to go through that get the input to improve the APNIC governance. And I believe anything goes through the official channel will be recorded, and we definitely will explain and go through a proper due process to go through the decision. Any other feedback from any EC member, or would you like to comment anything? No. Okay. Right. Thank you.
Sorry, just one comment on Zoom from a remote participant, Gaurav Kansal, quoting him, "I, in my personal capacity, seconded Carl's opinion."
Right, thank you. Thank you. We definitely take it into consideration. Okay, right. Next one.
Hi, Liam Stevens, Telstra Limited, talking in my own capacity. Thanks to Carl for your statement today and your efforts over the last 12 or more months. changing the mood slightly, I'd like to provide some feedback to APNIC and the EC and offer a perspective of APNIC from an extra large member in Australia. I'm aware that many of us are technical folk here and we love detail, but I think it's important that we take a step back, take a breath and look at why APNIC is integral to the internet ecosystem in the Asia-Pacific region. I would like to briefly share some of my experiences with APNIC. In my current role at Telstra, I've had a working relationship with APNIC for nearly 12 years. During this time, I've consumed many of the services offered by APNIC and interacted with APNIC at different levels via many of its touch points. And on that note, for those that attended the APNIC products and services session on Wednesday, you would have seen that APNIC has over 30 different touch points. Having that many ways to interact with an organisation suggests to me that that organisation is keen to communicate, interact with and assist members in any way possible. From memory, every interaction I've had with APNIC during that time, and there have been a lot, has resulted in a positive outcome. However, regardless of the outcome, it is APNIC's demonstrated integrity and constant desire to assist members that strikes me most. APNIC is a truly membership-driven organisation with a heavy focus on providing the best service through transparent conversations with its members. I believe the majority of people at this and every other APNIC event are here to make the internet a better place for your customers, a better place for you to work, and APNIC help guide all of us in that direction. Yes, most of us are here to represent our organisations. We have our own commercial interests, but we are a community, a very strong community. The open and robust conversations probably contribute quite a bit to that strength. We're all part of the APNIC community, even those from different regions, from other RIRs. We're a community that has built trust through years of conversations with each other at conferences like Apricot. I would like to genuinely thank APNIC and the EC for their ongoing support of myself and all members. APNIC is part of the complex puzzle that is the internet, obviously a very important part of the puzzle and a part that I would like to see continuing to assist and guide all of us in building a better internet for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With the very positive feedback, thank you very much. So we still have 2 minutes to go. So anyone is welcome. Please go to in front of the mic. John.
Jonathan Brewer, in my personal capacity. I would just like to say I'm very happy with the restructuring of APNIC. I think the new board situation is great. I think that after our diversity and inclusion panel yesterday, that the board might be complemented by appointment of some independent directors to help out and round out the diversity of the board. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's very important, especially we are all male in the EC. I think that's a very good recommendation. We take it into consideration. Okay, any other feedback? I think the election result is ready to be closed, and we can invite them to announce it. Thank you, Professor Kanchana.
Okay, exciting time. I'm very happy to say that the election results are here with me. I'm happy to say that there have been no disputes brought up. I have also been advised by the scrutineers, Alfredo de Rosa from APNIC and John Sweeting from ARIN. Would you like to comment on the... You can go to the mic.
Yeah, hello, John Sweeting from ARIN. Myself and Alfredo, we observed the download of the election results, and we observed no anomalies happening during the download of the results. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to announce the results and the corresponding votes. I have with me the results in my hand. I will read out carefully. So, APNIC Executive Council Election 2024 at poll closed on Friday, 1st of March 2024, 17:30 Australian time. Vote counting method is V1 FPTP. First past the post, ranked by votes. The first rank is Sumon Ahmed Sabir, 3,020 votes. The second rank is Vincent Atienza Archie, 3,008. Okay. The third rank is Kam Se Young, 2,030 votes. The fourth is Rob Thomas, 1,355. And the fourth, and the fifth is Thomas Dragono, 182. So total votes is 9,604. So all this is signed. So this means that the nominees who are successfully elected into the APNIC Executive Council are Sumon Ahmed Sabir, Vincent Atienza Archie, Kam Se Young. Congratulations. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Kachana, and also congratulations to the elected EC. Thank you very much, and thank you for your continued contribution to the community. Okay, here I'd like to move to the last one, vote for thanks. Move over to Paul.
Thank you, Kenny. Okay, we're coming to the end of the APNIC AGM. Not quite yet to the end of Apricot, but for the AGM and for the APNIC proceedings at this conference, now's the time to acknowledge the help, the contribution of quite a number of folks. We had 3 sponsors for this AGM. As usual, actually, CNNIC, JPNIC and TWNIC all came to the party and made a special contribution to help with the costs of this event, and so I'd like to thank them again very much, yet again, for an important contribution to this this event. Thank you. Now, a lot of volunteers. The SIG chairs, firstly, policy SIG chair and co-chairs, that's Bertrand, Anupam and Shayla. The NIR SIG chair and co-chair, Juan and Gaurav. The Cooperation SIG chair and co-chair are Joy and Bikram. And lastly, Routing Security SIG chair and co-chair, Jocelyn and Dee Ma. So thank you very much for your efforts, all of you, in making those SIGs a success. We have the new structure of the Electoral Committee, who did, for the first time, this new job of overseeing the election under its refined rules. So thanks very much for the efforts of Donna, Amrita, Akinori, Keiko, and Aftab. Thanks so much. Also on the election chair, Professor Kanchana, the election scrutineers, John and Alfredo, the election nominees and participants, and of course, congratulations to the successful EC members-elect. Thanks to all the speakers and moderators who helped with the APNIC program during this week. It seems to have been a successful event. We'd love to hear feedback from everyone who came, but I think I hope that you'd all recognise the efforts of those who spoke and moderated, who brought content and helped to make the sessions a success. We had a hackathon this week. Facilitators and participants deserve thanks, and also the APNIC EC, staff, RIR colleagues, guests, of course our friends and colleagues at Apricot, and last but not least, everyone who's here in person or who has attended remotely. Thanks so much for helping to make the event a success. So I'm just moving on into, well, at least one announcement now. The fellowships for 2024 for APNIC 58 are now open, so please think about either applying yourselves or suggesting colleagues or friends or others apply to join APNIC 58, receive quite a bit of support in that process, mentoring, training, briefings, and if you go through all of that successfully, then a certificate of achievement. So please do spread the word, and by the end of this month, approximately, we'll have received probably several hundred applications for fellows who will be given that support to come and join us in Wellington. And to the APNIC community, stay in touch and stay safe. Not quite the end of the event yet, because we've got the closing session of Apricot, but that's to the APNIC membership and community in particular. Thanks again. And we'll see you at APNIC 58. Okay, there's just some gifts for the AGM sponsors, so if we could have representatives from CNNIC, JPNIC and TWNIC, then I'd love to present a certificate and a gift to you. CNNIC. And we'll be looking for JPNIC and TWNIC in quick succession. Thanks. Is there someone from JPNIC? Yeah, thanks. Okay, thank you. Certificate. Thank you. Okay. Those gifts, by the way, are a sort of a carry bag recycled from the banners from Apricot 2020 in Melbourne. Now, I've got an announcement to make of my own. So please bear with me for a few minutes, but this is about something that has been on my mind on and off for at least the last 10 years or so. A line of thought I think probably started to occur to me around the time of APNIC's 20th birthday back in Xi'an in China in 2013. Then again when I hit my own 20-year anniversary at APNIC. Yeah, I hit 20 years working for APNIC in 2018. And then again, we had a 30th birthday just last year. So every 5 years, I've had thoughts about what's next. I've been at APNIC for most of its 30-year history since 1998, when I was 34 years old, and I applied for the job. During my interview, one panellist wrote a note in the margin of her paperwork which said simply, "Too young." So I think that was true actually back then, but it's not true anymore. So it's led me to a series of decisions. We had a 4-year strategic planning, and I mentioned at some point that I really didn't think I'd be around to the end of that 4-year period. Last November, I spoke to the EC and said, furthermore, that I thought I would be stepping down from APNIC during 2024. They noted that, but then I shocked them again last week by giving them a date. So I made a decision, a purely personal decision, to finish my role as APNIC DG on the 30th of June this year. So I guess some people think it's about time for this, and I do agree. But it's entirely my decision, and it's been a few years in the making, like maybe 10 years in the making. But I think it's much more important to say here how much I've appreciated the opportunity to work to serve APNIC and the community. It's been a really incredible challenge, personally and for the organisation. And I've, in that process, made many, many friends, a few others as well. But I've been very, very grateful, and in fact, absolutely reliant on the support that I've received from the start, continually, right up to this day, from the community, from successive generations of APNIC EC members, from likewise a long list of fantastic APNIC staff. I actually don't have another engagement to go to, so I've made myself available to support the transition to the new DG until the end of 2024, perhaps, or thereabouts, or more if needed. But that choice is up to the EC and the new DG and staff. But that's where I am now, and I'll be around, not going too far away. I'll hand it back to Kenny for a few words on that question. But I really do look forward to seeing all of you as normal for the next few months, and then after that, at least as Vint Cerf says, on the internet. Really, thanks very much.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I apologize. Gareth, do you want to go open mic first?
You go ahead first, and then I'll take after that.
yeah, you can go first. It's okay.
Thank you, Paul. I think that's the thing I'll say. As I've known you for, what, 25 years or so, before APNIC and now. Worked very closely for the last 7, 8 years as the chair, and then before that on the EC, and then before that as a community member. And I think we've talked about this, as you said, many times. And I will not say too much, but I'll say still very much thank you. The community is going to miss you, your leadership. You brought APNIC from a 7% or 5% team. I remember that photo of you and Connie and Paul Gamp and Anne and I forgot the name. What is her name? Like 5 people. All the way to what we had today, like the photo we had before lunch break up there on the screen. You are instrumental in creating the foundation, getting the trust set up, and you've also saved the community a lot of times that, you know, the community may not realize. You were one of the first proponents in the RIR and the internet industry that we should work with the ITU rather than push them away. One of my fun experience working with Paul was when I was very young, compared with Paul, obviously, and we went around lobbying the Asian governments in Tokyo with the Asian IGF. Oh, well, not IGF, it was the WSIS PrepCom way back. And then ever since, you've led this RIR community and the internet community in general towards not just being numbers, but also engaging with different stakeholders outside of our closed community, with ITU, the UN, similarly with development agencies all across the globe. I also know that you saved the IGF once. And that has continued to be one of the premier multi-stakeholder forums for the whole of the internet and people related to it to come and work with each other. And, you know, all of these things, thank you so much, because you showed that we can be broader and we can include a lot more and get a lot more done when you have the drive and when you have the desire to get things done. So it is just not the numbers, but the entire internet community on their behalf. Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you, Gaurav. After
Hi, Aftab Siddiqui. I just want to comment on Paul's decision, his own decision, on his own record. But as a person, Paul as a person, not as a DG of APNIC. Known him since 2008, the first time I ever attended the APNIC meeting. A young 26, 27-year-old engineer who came to the first APNIC meeting, and the DG of the APNIC sat down with him during the dinner time asking, what you are not understanding here? How can I help you and tell you how to engage more? That was the starting point for me since 2008. I haven't missed a lot of meetings since then, unless my visa was denied. So the commitment Paul has shown to this community, the amount of willpower he has shown, he has listened to us, had got a lot of criticism. I criticized him a lot, and not because as a person, but on policies. We discussed aggressively, let's do this, let's do that, and he was always positive. Yep, I understand your point, but please hear me out first. And then we came to a very positive conclusion every single time. That shows a lot. I worked with him when I was on the NRO NC position. He was the chair, I was the chair of the NC. I saw a different Paul over there, a different commitment to the global community, not just for the APNIC community. It showed me a lot. I have learned a lot from him. And I would just like to say at the end, when Akinori-san left the EC chair, it was a very hurtful moment. It hurt a lot when he decided to step down. When Gaurav left, we all were hurt that we lost a leader. And trust me, this time it hurts a lot as well. I can't say thank you enough. I hope you stays with us, connected with us. It's a small community. We want you to be part of this community, the one you formed. I wouldn't be here without Akinori-san or Gaurav or Suman Bhai or you. Some of our very good mentors have moved on. I don't want you to leave this community as Gaurav is connected, as Akinori is connected. So stay with us, stay connected, and thank you so much for all you have done. I really can't say thank you enough.
Akinori. Thank you. Akinori Maimura from APNIC. I was serving as a EC chair for a very long time, and then one of the EC's job is to hire the Director General. And then in my days, the DG contract is a termed contract. So I periodically need to renew the contract. And then periodically, I was forced to ask one question: Paul, do you continue it? And then, Paul, do you have any intent to leave? Then, but of course, I never want to lose you. Then you made a great job for this long years. And then actually, my involvement in APNIC is really, joy of mine, because every time I observe the APNIC's planning and the report, it is really beautifully put, and then periodically made a great substantial improvement. And then APNIC is, and now it is really grown up. Finally, we had the historic bylaw change. So everything is quite, without Paul, there is no such a great achievement by the APNIC community. Thank you very much, and then stay with us. Even you stepped down from the DG position. I love you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I'm Oing from APNIC. Just I remember when the first time. Yes, sorry.
It's okay.
Yes, okay. I remember the first time I came to a big meeting, then also around 10 years ago, yeah, in Brisbane. And also I very nervous because my English is not good at that time, and now it's better, yet not good at like native people here. And also I am very interested to work in APNIC, the NL Vietnam, and also we got, yes, I know you at that time, the 10 years ago. And also sometimes, at that time, I'm not be free to talk to you because my English is not good at that time. However, in this time, I'm very happy if any conversation with you. And also, I saw for a long time that you support APNIC and also APNIC community very well. And it's my, not only in myself, but also on behalf of APNIC, I would like to thank you so much for your support for Vietnam community and also APNIC community as well. And I hope that you will keep staying with us. And also, I would wish you have a best for in the future. Yeah. Also to keep support the internet in the region and also in the world. And thank you so much again.
Thank you. Next one.
Anupam here. Paul, I still remember 2009 when we had just formed Internet Society Kolkata chapter. and you and Sunny flew down there on my request to start some IPv6 related training program. We signed an MOU to that effect, and I stand here today representing 180 network engineers from my region, Kolkata, in India, to thank you for your services. Thank you.
Raj Singh for the record, but speaking in a very personal capacity. Just want to state that for the record again. The others have really already spoken quite a bit of what I was going to say, so I won't repeat all that. Very recently, Paul and I were having a conversation and trying to figure out when we actually met each other the first time. And we concluded that that was probably in the year 2000. So we've known each other for nearly a quarter of a century. A couple of things as observations in that time. And I've known Paul with many hats. I used to have companies which were APNIC members. Then I was part of the ISTA community. And of course, today, I'm part of the APNIC family. Couple of observations. One, Paul is always curious, and he's always interested to have a chat, always interested to know, share his ideas and thoughts, but as well ensure that people are being steered in the right direction. I think that's something perhaps that people don't recognize him enough for. He's always had time for people, and he's guided not just APNIC, but I think the larger internet through some stormy waters. Of course, here at APNIC, we've had a few of those. But as well at the global level, I think we've had a lot of challenges over the last nearly 30 years that we've been around APNIC, Paul. So thank you for your service. The first innings is over, but I think there's another innings to come. Cheers, man.
Thank you.
Hi, Bill Sandiford, Chairman of the ARIN Board of Trustees. Paul, for many, many years, you've been a strong, stable, and steady voice for not only APNIC, the members of your region, the people of the APNIC community, but for the entire IR community in all regions around the world. So simply on behalf of the ARIN Board of Trustees, staff, advisory council, and all members in the ARIN region, I'd like to congratulate you on a fantastic career as DG at APNIC and wish you the utmost success in whatever your future endeavors bring you. And I look forward for our paths crossing many times in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Prahar?
On behalf of the Internet Service Providers Association of India, I would wish to thank Paul for all the services he has done for the APNIC community and the industry. I still remember the first day when I met Paul, and I think that year was 2005 or 6. It was Bali. The APNIC meeting was there. And I had recently been elected to the board of ISPAI. And it fell on me as the secretary and Brijesh Jain to come down to Bali and present to the APIA board, was the board at that time, which used to, where you had to go and bid for holding, whether it was Apricot or APNIC meetings. And in India, nothing like that had been done till then, and it was going to be the very first time. I remember I did not know Paul who he was. I just crossed him in the corridors, and I commented to Brijesh. I said, "Who is this tall, lanky-looking, thin, regal-looking guy walking down? Seems to be someone important here." So, and sure enough, when we went into the room where we had to give the presentation, there he was sitting. So anyway, the board, including Paul, they were convinced with our arguments. And the very next meeting was held in India, and we held it quite successfully, which gave us a lot of confidence to hold then multiple meetings. And it is thereafter, and a lot of interaction and support from him, that ISPI got totally enmeshed with the APNIC community, and all of us, well, we are all here. And a large part of credit goes to Paul for being that rock-solid support, that whenever we approached him or we asked him for anything, he was always there. And we just can't forget it. And personally, Paul, you have been a very good guide and mentor. I was pretty new to the surroundings here, And we got a lot of support, a lot of encouragement, and I think I just can't forget it. I think you're a great guy. Thank you.
Thank you, Prahad.
Rupesh from Sanok. Thank you, Paul, for your leadership in APNIC and what you've done for my community in South Asia. I would like to thank you on behalf of Sanok and my whole South Asian community. Thank you very much from Sanok and the South Asia. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, this is Joy Chen from TWNIC. Paul, I want to say thank you very much. I get to know you better as I was elected to be the chair for Cooperation SIG. Ever since then, whenever that I talk to you, I can almost remember all the conversations that you've been giving to me. It was inspiring, was encouraging. Even this morning when we met, you said to me that another cooperation session has been done. Let's think about the next one. And then you start brainstorming some of the good topics and introduce me to the possible, potential, wonderful candidates for the next round. With your support and with your encouraging, I just want to say thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to know you and know you better as I have been working closely with the community and knowing you as the APNIC wonderful leader. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Just to say thank you, Paul. And I still remember the Daejeon meeting. Paul and myself, we are going to the closing dinner, and I sat behind Paul, and he had asked me. So during that, from that time onwards, you know, he has been supporting us, and he told me that in Nepal, any kind of support, please let me know. So leaders are not only, you know, making followers. So Paul has already proven that he made leaders in our community. So thank you very much, Paul.
Okay, thank you. Next. Okay.
Thanks, Paul. I think it's been quite a while. I think back in the, was it the 90s sometime, doing internet stuff in Australia? You've made this whole thing that's been built over the last, 30 years, look easy. And it has always been great to be able to look at the other side of the room or in all sorts of weird and wonderful places around the world, working on the IANA transition, for one example. To have somebody else in the room that had a steady head about it, that knew everybody else, that could point certain things and work things through in a crisis and still make it look easy and calm, while the rest of us were probably having meltdowns on the side, freaking out. It's great to see you leaving not out in an innings, if I could use a cricketing phrase, as somebody else I'm sure will understand around here. So congratulations for a great innings. Well done. Keep it going. Don't be a stranger, mate.
Okay, thank you. Pablo. Don't cry.
I hope not. I have a lot to say, but I can't. The only thing that I would like to share here is the importance of leadership and how much weight Paul has carried during such a long time, to the degree of, like, all of us being very comfortable. I think something that we need to accept is how much responsibility it is now on us to carry, on the EC to decide on the next steps. And again, the importance of leadership that Paul has kept at levels of excellence that I've never seen. Everything else I cannot discuss now.
Okay, right. Thank you, Pablo. Okay, I'd like to, if you wish, I'd like to close the open mic because we are serious delay from the schedule. I'm sorry.
Can I intervene?
Yeah, you can say.
Intervene?
Yeah, sure.
Look, I'd just like to say how incredibly honoured I am to hear all of that. I'm really, really it's an amazing experience. It's an incredible way to end the day today and to end a lot of other things which aren't over quite. But look, it's an incredible honour. But I just want to say, at no point have I done anything I've done alone. Really, at no point at all. And even if I appear to have been acting alone and appear to have even acted recklessly or unilaterally, it's always with a knowledge, sometimes taken for granted, the fact that I've had so many people behind me, and really that's been essential. It's been just, I mean, I could not have done anything over this last period without having such an incredible team at APNIC and community of people around APNIC, and so again, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Suppose it should be a happy closing. It would be my bad if you feel sad. I know Paul for years. Basically, Paul has shown his intention about this idea for years. And officially, his intention, officially, he advised the EC his intention in November last year. And EC fully recognized his decision. And that's why we have EC approval his resignation during the EC meeting in Bangkok this time. So thank you for your continuing support and continued contribution to the community. We really appreciate that. And meanwhile, there are some also conjunction tasks we need to perform. For example, like the EC will begin the recruiting process for the new Director General immediately. And also more information will be made available to the community if for any interest applicant in this coming weeks. That information will be shown in the APNIC website. And on behalf of EC, I'd like to thank Paul for his 25 years of dedication to APNIC, its member, and EC and the Secretariat, and the broader internet community. He has made immense contribution to the IRC system, INET transition, and steward of the APNIC registry, and advanced the version of open, global, stable, and secure internet. His unwavering support and commitment to internet development in the Asia-Pacific region will leave a lasting legacy. Hereby, I sincerely invite everyone to give Paul a big round of applause. Okay, a farewell for Paul will be held in the APNIC 58 in Wellington, New Zealand in September 24. And I hope you can join us there to celebrate Paul's farewell party. Thank you. With that, I conclude that will be end of our session. We already covered everything in our AGM meeting. And I leave some logistics to our MC. Do you want to announce anything? Okay, right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. Emotions are flowing like flooded rivers today. But it's not the end of the conference. It's not the end of the session, this one. And we have a closing social next door. Please join that. But we also have a closing social. You know, if you can't make it to APNIC 58 to toast with Paul, I think this is a perfect opportunity to join the closing social and have a drink with him. But do not leave the room. We will take a massive group photo with Paul. So I would like to request the EC members and the Paul to go and join the audience, please. And the cameraman will take a shot from here on the stage. So please, everyone, if you could stand up and join Paul, we'll take a massive big photo with him. By the way, I forgot to say that this idea came from Archie. Thank you all. Thank you, EC members. Thank you all. So the social event will start at 7 o'clock tonight, but there's a closing social next door. There is no buses provided, so you have to make your own way to the Museum of CM. The details are on the website, on the conference website, and you'll find the transportation details as well there. Thank you so much.
There's a million of those who won't let us be, but they're not gonna see me bleed, 'cause baby I got you. I've been beaten to the ground, dragged across the dirt. I've been scared to live 'cause some people never learn, but they're not gonna watch me burn.